Thanks everyone for joining. Today we have a super special guest, William from Bags, who's been a partner of Hopscotch for some time. And so today we're going to jump into quite a bit. We're going to cover all of the updates of the new Hopscotch Flow product, which is going to be out by the time that you see this video. We're also going to talk a lot about our partner relationships and how we work with folks like the team at Bags. And then, answer some questions that a lot of our partners have before deciding whether or not to work with the Hopscotch Flow team. And so with that, William, I'll hand it over to you and you can give a quick intro on Bags and all the good stuff you guys do.
Yeah, thanks, Reed. I'm William. As Reed mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders of Bags, and we've really built a platform designed to help businesses manage, borrow, and spend money better. We do it by supporting with everything you can imagine in bookkeeping and accounting, including AR and AP management. And then when we have that data really clean and organized, we make sure that those businesses can meet amazing partners like Hopscotch to improve cash conversion cycles and get finance into the business so that they can grow.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks again for being here. So I want to give everyone just a quick run through of what's new with Hopscotch Flow. We'll give a walkthrough of the actual experience, and then we can jump into some questions and things like that. For those who don't know, Hopscotch Flow is a really great working capital tool that enables small businesses using the Hopscotch platform to access a line of credit through the invoices that they're sending. And so historically, the way this has worked is you have a line of credit, and then you're able to access that credit through individual invoices you send through the system. And so if you want, $100,000 and you have a credit limit of that, amount, you can send 10 invoices of $10,000 each and then go in and actually execute draws for each one of those individually. This can get tedious for a lot of the larger businesses working with us. It's also not automated when it comes to repayments. And so there were a lot of lessons learned over the last year, which is how small businesses are managing their cash flow and what they're looking for in a product like this. And so the new and improved Hopscotch Flow gives customers a line of credit, again, based on the total amount of invoices that they've sent through our system. But now you're actually able to go in and execute a draw for the full amount of your credit limit or, smaller amounts, whatever you actually need to run your business. And it's not tied to specific invoices. Additionally, instead of, the payment occurring through either your client paying an invoice or you going in and hitting pay, Hopscotch Flow draws are repaid adhering to an installment plan that is based on your business's risk score. And so the more you use this platform, the more transactions you complete, the more draws you successfully pay back, you're going to get higher credit limits. Your installment plan is going to be for an extended period of time and so on. So this product really does scale with you. And so overall, the experience we feel is something that's more in line with what our customers are expecting. So I'll pause there. I don't know, William, if you have any questions on your end that, maybe you or other partners might think of that I could, answer now, but if not, can jump into the quick walkthrough.
Yeah, no, all amazing updates so far. I think the first question is, I think what Hopscotch is trying to solve is that cash conversion cycle, right? Where you're waiting for money to come through. When a draw is made, is there a grace period before that first payment?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so there is. So you're not going to make any payments for the first 30 days after executing that draw. So you'll get the funds. Typically what we're seeing, if I'd say the average risk of a borrower, right? You would make your first payment 30 days after executing the draw and then once per month thereafter. For businesses that may just be starting out and don't have as good of a history, some of those installments might be made every 2 weeks. So it really depends on the business's level of risk, but the first 30 days, there are no payments.
Amazing. And let's say you take a draw, it is against an actual invoice that exists and that invoice gets paid. Is there any obligation to pay the whole thing back?
There isn't. So this is that used to be the case. So I'm glad you're asking that. But given the changes that we've made, right, businesses will now have essentially this available credit limit. right? And so they can go in and they can execute a draw, and it is not tied to any specific invoice. So put this differently, right? If you have, I don't know, again, 10 invoices that are on your account, right? And each of those invoices are $10,000 or so. And so you have a credit limit of maybe $50,000, right? You can make a draw on that $50,000, get paid on all of your invoices, and before you've actually paid off that draw, and you won't have to pay it off immediately once you've gotten paid on those invoices. You will still adhere to the installment plan that you agreed to when you actually executed the draw. So no, it is not tied to any specific invoice.
So the way to think about it is you run your invoices through Hopscotch basically as a risk scoring improvement mechanism. You just keep running your invoices through Hopscotch. You'll get a better risk rating, ideally, and your credit limit will increase. And then functionally, you'll have a line of credit that goes along with it.
Yeah, that's a good way to think of it. I mean, the accounts receivable being on Hopscotch is really just a way for us to do cash flow based underwriting, right? We want to get a better understanding of your business through what you're actually invoicing for versus doing, a bunch of credit checks, looking at financial statements and all of that. We feel that the invoices, really do give us a pretty good insight to how your business is performing. Of course, there's other data that we look at, but what's most important is the outstanding AR. And so if you're running all of your AR through Hopscotch, as your business grows, you're going to get, a larger credit limit. If it shrinks, your credit limit may go down to just match, what you're actually invoicing for, but it's all tied to the invoices you send on Hopscotch. What's new is really this flow page here. So this is a page dedicated to managing your Hopscotch Flow credit limit and any draws that you want to execute. And so now it's super easy, right? If you have a credit limit, you can go in, you just click draw funds. You'll type in how much you want. So I'll just want, $100 here, which is a very small draw. But you can type in any amount up to your credit limit. Do I have $100 here? It's telling me what the total repayment amount is going to be. It's going to tell me the interest rate, the loan due date. So this is when the final payment is going to be made related to this draw. The number of installments, and then the installment payment schedule. Now, again, the weekly installment payment schedule is not what most borrowers are going to see on the Hopscotch platform. You are typically going to see every 2 weeks, or in most cases once a month, and then it'll tell me my first payment due date. When you do this on Hopscotch, all of your funds related to the draw, so the $100, will be deposited into your Hopscotch balance, which you can then use to pay bills on the Hopscotch platform or immediately withdraw to a bank account that you have outside of the platform. For this, as you click continue, you will get to choose where repayments are coming from. So again, this is to pay us back. This is an installment plan. We will always deduct funds from your Hopscotch balance on the installment due date, but you will have the choice of selecting a backup account. So if you don't keep a Hopscotch balance, you'll have the option of actually choosing where we'll debit to pay back the installment. And then you'll agree to the terms. Obviously, once it's approved, you'll get all of the details. You can download the loan agreement, go ahead and close it out. You see the funds are in your Hopscotch balance and available for use. And that's how simple this process is.
It is incredibly simple. So that fee that you see when you draw the funds out, is that automatically going to be the fee no matter really what happens? I mean, I guess in a scenario where payments are late, there may be penalties, but if there's prepayment, it's just prepayment at that preset amount. And if there's any adjustments, like I guess prepayment is the primary one, but that repayment amount is pretty locked in, or is it variable based on the interest rate and other factors?
Great question. So that's one of the other awesome features of this product is this right here is only if you allow the loan to essentially go to the end date, right? The maturity date. If there is an early payment, you're only going to be charged for what you use. And so there is a obviously processing fee for, completing the draw. And then the interest rate that you see is done on a per day basis.
So if you pay it back within 30 days, even though you had, you know, 4 or 5 months, 6 months to pay it back, you're only going to pay 30 days of that percentage.
That's exactly right.
Amazing.
Yeah. And the other great thing too is that if you are using Hopscotch and you're approved for this line of credit, you're not getting charged for access to it, right? So what we see a lot of businesses do is they'll come on, they'll if they're not immediately approved, they'll complete their application and get up and running with Flow. But they will have the credit limit there and they won't necessarily use it right away. And so it's just a great safety net for a lot of small businesses to have access to without having to go through all of the paperwork, submitting financials, and doing all of that fun stuff with a traditional bank.
Speaking of financials, I saw you had the opportunity to download the agreement. One thing I see businesses struggle with a lot is their ability to keep track of their liabilities in their financial statements, which whether you need them for a loan or not, it's an important thing to be on top of. Outside of that contract, what level of reporting is available?
Question. So at any time you'd like, you can go to the Flow tab in the Hopscotch portal. You could go to outstanding flows and you will see all of the outstanding draws that you are currently active. And so if you want to get more information about one, in particular, like this one here, which we just did, you can click on it and then all of the relevant details will come up. It'll tell you your current balance as of today. It'll tell you what your next payment amount is, the payment date, how many payments total you have left, and then the percentage of the loan that has been, paid thus far. If you want to make an early payment, you can click make a payment. You'll have the loan terms and conditions, which you can download at any time. And then you'll be able to scroll down and actually see all of the individual installments here, the status of the installment amount. If there's an error, we'll let you know. And so there's a lot of clarity in terms of what's actually going on here. And you can even review, previous completed installment payments and all of that good stuff. So we try to give you everything.
It looks like everything. You'd be shocked how many times I see a business that has an outstanding loan and isn't receiving monthly statements and generally has no idea what's going on. So this is awesome.
It happens a lot, especially with MCAs. We see that a ton. And so we think that this is just a really good, clear alternative for small businesses. It's super fast, super flexible, scales with the business as they grow. And, it's just a really great way to invest in growth. So if any of this stuff sounds like it is interesting for your business, whether you're an accountant, you're someone that works with small businesses to find access or to find, capital that's, most relevant for them. If there's some way that you would like to work with Hopscotch to help put this product in the hands of more small businesses out there, we'd love to explore working with you. And so we do have a partner program where companies can actually go to the site, they can, relay their interest, speak with one of our representatives, run through the product, and we'll actually get you set up with a partner portal where you can send leads, track leads as they're signing up for Hopscotch, getting approved for, credit limits and actually executing draws. And then as your referrals are making payments towards their draws, you will receive a revenue share. And so the revenue share, is variable. Typically we're giving 10% roughly of Hopscotch's net revenue from this product as a revenue share. And one of the great things is that it's again all automated. So once your clients have actually submitted the final payment, you'll be notified and you'll get that revenue share sent to you directly. So we work with partners of all types, and we think it's a great program to help again get this in the hands of more small businesses out there.
Yeah, it's really one of those things that every business needs. So outside of the fact that participating in a revenue share is really great, it's functionally passive income. One of the best things about working with Hopscotch is just the benefit to the customer, and the fact that it makes it more likely that a customer that's working with bags is going to be around longer because they have these advantages. So really proud and happy partners of Hopscotch and excited to get more businesses over your way.